Hello and welcome. It is a pleasure to guide you through the secrets hidden in your Christmas desserts. Let's journey back in time together. Welcome to a tale of transformation. You see these iconic dishes before you, the rich, dark pudding and the crumbly star-topped pie. You likely know them as the sweet finale to your festive feast. But I am here to tell you that their history is far savourier and perhaps a bit more rebellious than you ever imagined. This is the secret history of your Christmas plate. Ask yourself this: what if your dessert wasn't a dessert at all? Look at these sweet treats. It might seem impossible now, but their journey to your table spans centuries of radical change. Originally, these weren't the sweet delights you crave today. They were dense, savory, meat-filled dishes, hearty main courses designed to sustain you through the winter, not merely cap off a meal. We are going to uncover how meaty porridges and religious symbols evolved into the icons of today. Let us begin with the heavyweight of the holiday table. Chapter 1. The Pudding's Tale. It didn't start as a cake. In the 14th century, it was this: frumenty. Picture a thick, savory porridge made from cracked wheat, boiled with beef or mutton, and seasoned with wine. By the 15th century, it had become plum pottage, a rich meat broth. And a quick note on history's confusing language. The plum in plum pudding never actually referred to the fruit we know as a plum. Historically, it meant any dried fruit, specifically raisins. Now, look at these stern faces. By 1647, the pudding found itself in political hot water. The Puritan-led Parliament under Oliver Cromwell banned Christmas festivities. While they didn't explicitly outlaw the pudding by name, it was deemed sinfully rich and a symbol of popish indulgence. Making it became an act of defiance. But, like the holiday itself, it couldn't be kept down. With the restoration of the monarchy in 1660, the pudding returned, championed by King George I, who earned the nickname the Pudding King for his love of the dish. By the Victorian era, the pudding began to look like the dessert you recognize. Charles Dickens famously described it as a speckled cannonball blazing in brandy. This is when the final traces of meat were replaced entirely by suet, and the cooking method shifted from a cloth bag to a steamed basin, giving it that iconic, perfect round shape we know today. But a pudding is more than just ingredients. It is a ritual. Traditionally, it is made on Stir-Up Sunday, the last Sunday before Advent. The name comes from the opening prayer of the day. "Stir up, we beseech thee, O Lord." The whole family would take a turn stirring the mixture from east to west, honoring the journey of the Magi. And if you were lucky, you'd find a hidden token in your slice, a silver sixpence for wealth, or perhaps a thimble, which rather ominously predicted a year of single life. Now we turn our attention to the smaller but equally storied treat. Chapter 2. The Pie's Pilgrimage. Travel back to the 13th century. The first mince pies were not round, but large and oblong, shaped like a crib or manger to represent the nativity. These were known as shrid pies or crib pies. They were a sophisticated main course filled with minced mutton or beef, suet, and fruit. Even the spices, cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg, were chosen deliberately to represent the three gifts brought by the Magi. However, that religious shape became a liability. During the Reformation and the Puritan era, the pie's overt symbolism made it a target. Critics called it idolatry in crust. To avoid trouble, bakers came up with a clever disguise. They began baking the pies in small, round shapes to hide the religious association. The disguise worked so well that the manger shape vanished and the round pie became the standard we see today. Over time, the meat in mince meat became a ghost of its former self. As sugar and dried fruits became cheaper and more plentiful in the 18th and 19th centuries, the sweet ingredients began to dominate. You can see the progression here, from a mostly meat filling to a mix, until finally the meat dropped away entirely, leaving only the suet, or sometimes just butter, to bind the spiced fruit mixture we love. There is still magic in them, however. The most enduring legend says that mince pies are a recipe for good fortune. Tradition holds that to ensure a year of happiness, you must eat one mince pie on each of the 12 days of Christmas, from Christmas Day to the 12th night on January 5th. Just be careful, it's considered bad luck to cut one with a knife. When you look at their histories side by side, you see a remarkable parallel. Both the pudding and the pie began as savory, meat-heavy medieval dishes. Both were imbued with deep religious symbolism. Both faced suppression by the Puritans, forcing them to adapt or go underground. And both emerged in the Victorian era, transformed into the sweet, suet-based treats that define a British Christmas. Today, that history is alive on your modern plate. Whether you're enjoying a historical recreation of an 18th century boiled pudding or biting into a modern twist like Mary Berry's orange zest and marzipan tart, you are participating in a living tradition. Chefs innovate, but the soul of the dish remains rooted in the past. So, this year, when you take that first bite, remember, you are not just tasting a dessert, you are tasting centuries of history, religious struggle, political rebellion, and the enduring sweetness of tradition. Merry Christmas!